New Makeup Dupes 2023. High-end makeup for less. Let's see how good these dupes are. I'm excited. Let's begin with foundation. The first foundation that we're going to dupe is Hourglass. This is the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I have a love for this foundation right here. It's really beautiful, very expensive, but just the way it wears on your skin and the way it looks on your skin is gorgeous. So this, people are saying, is a beautiful dupe for the high-end foundation. The Neutragena Flawless Matte CC Cream. So not a foundation, it's a CC cream, but it does supposedly have a full coverage matte finish with color correcting properties with niacinamide, and it's supposed to give you a beautiful, flawless looking complexion. Let's do left side, expensive, high-end, right side, cheap, budget-friendly. I'm going to apply the foundations, or foundation and CC cream with a brush. One of my favorite brushes is the Bobbie Brown Full Coverage Face Brush, and I think this is a great dupe for it by Honest Beauty foundation brush. Both have a dome shape. They're very densely packed, but I think it's a really great dupe for the Bobbie Brown. One thing, I can't really find my perfect shade in the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow, so I do have to mix two shades. And it has like a really nice, almost whipped texture. It's not very fluid where it's liquid, so I can see maybe that's why the CC cream is a great dupe. And a little bit does go a long way. Even though it says medium to buildable, I would say you could get a solid full coverage with this foundation. Let's see if I can get one of these colors to match. This one might work better. Let me make my own concoction out of shell and porcelain. Okay, so the texture, like I said, it's a little liquidy. It doesn't feel as whipped and lightweight, but it does have a similar texture enough to Hourglass. Oh yeah, this is extremely full coverage for a CC cream. Oh my gosh. And also it looks like you do have to work with it pretty quick. It's not pasty, but it's a thicker formula. You do kind of have to put a little bit more elbow grease into it. The brush is doing a fabulous job blending this out. And this is definitely more my color. It's not as yellow as this side. I'm gonna build it up a little bit more. I'm just impressed at how similar it looks. If anything, the CC cream looks a little more glowy, which is funny because it's supposed to be a matte finish and the Hourglass is supposed to be a little more glowy. But that's really beautiful. I am shocked at how good Neutragena looks in comparison to Hourglass. If anything, Neutragena has more of a soft finish instead of a matte finish. You can see on my face, it's the same skincare on both sides. On the right side with the Neutragena CC Matte Cream, it has more of a soft glow to it versus the Hourglass Soft Glow Ambient Foundation. The Ambient Foundation is definitely more of a soft matte finish in comparison to the Neutragena. They both have a similar finish. They're not tacky, but they're not dry feeling on the skin. They don't feel like powder. Wow, I am impressed. I'm actually blown away how similar they look, how beautiful they both look one-to-one. Now I'm curious how they're going to wear one-to-one. Next makeup dupe, concealers. For the high end, we have the Huda Beauty FauxFilter Concealer versus the dupe. This is the Flower Beauty, their Lights Illusion Concealer. Both claim to be medium to full coverage. They both are supposed to have a beautiful, soft, matte, but a glow from within type of a finish and very long wearing, crease proof. From my experience, and if you don't want to look super heavy under your eyes, a little bit goes a long way. I like this big fat doe foot applicator, and it has a little bit of like a spoon, a little shovel, whatever you want to call it. It fits really nice under your eyes. But the formula itself is very, very lightweight, very easy to blend. You can use your fingers, a brush, or a sponge to apply this. I prefer a brush to get the best and the most true to get the most true finish and coverage. But again, it also depends on how much you apply. I like to go very light-handed and then layer if I need more coverage. But I love how this concealer applies, how it looks under the eyes, and how it wears. So for Flower Beauty, the applicator, it's a doe foot applicator, but it's very slim and long in comparison, well, that's too bright, in comparison to the Huda Beauty FauxFilter Concealer. And these shades are also a little bit too light for me, so I might have to add a little bit more of the Huda Beauty in a lighter shade. I'm gonna take a Sonia Kashuk brush. This was a limited edition, but it's very similar to my Spectrum brush. Just anything more fluffy and long, but not dense. Very, very fluffy and light. I find that it gives really beautiful coverage and finish to any concealer. But this concealer, I find that you do have to work one eye at a time and don't wait long in between blending, because even though it is a very lightweight texture and formula, it kind of just settles and dries down in areas where you don't want it to settle and dry down really fast. And you do have to use a lot more concealer in comparison to Huda Beauty because of that formula. It's liquidy, it's watery. And I find that this concealer by Flower Beauty, it works best with either a dampened sponge or a brush. I don't like it blended out with my fingers because of that formula. It's too watery, so you lose a lot of that pigment and coverage. So if you want the most full coverage out of this concealer, use a brush to blend this out. It looks heavier with the Flower Beauty, and it's kind of stuck right here in the outer corner. Yeah, right now with the first impression, 1-to-1, I don't think this is a good dupe. It's a lot drier looking on my eyes and under my eyes in comparison to Huda Beauty. Next makeup dupe, mascaras. We have the Thrive Causemetics mascara. This right here is the newest launch and release from Milani. This is their highly rated extensions tubing mascara. Wow, even the wand itself is almost identical. Let's see. I would say Milani is a little bit longer of the actual wand, but the bristles and where you apply the mascara, it's the exact same shape, size. I'm gonna apply the Thrive side. I curled my lashes already, and I do like to, when I apply this type of a mascara, tubing mascara, just to take off as much of the formula as possible, just to give myself a nice light layer to begin with. Perks of a tubing formula, it's supposed to clean off very easy. All right, so overall, I think Milani has a little bit more pigment, but this is a very, very fresh tube, a new tube, versus a Thrive Causemetics mascara. This is at least 6 months old, so it's a little drier and it's not as intense. But I think the way they applied, it's extremely similar, and the result is very similar. I'm just curious how they're going to wear now. The next makeup dupe, liquid contours. We have the high-end, the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand versus the dupe, Milani Liquid Contour Conceal and Perfect. The only thing I'm gonna say, the colors are gonna be completely off. Liquid Contour by Charlotte Tilbury is gonna be a lot more deep and pigmented versus Milani. It's a little more subtle and user-friendly. And I am going to use a brush to blend this out. I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario F1 brush. I'm not gonna blend it out right away, just to show you guys the color difference. So Milani, you also have a little twist up. It's a squeezy tube with a sponge tip applicator. I find that a brush or a dampened sponge gives you a beautiful, flawless application. But even though that color looks really intense and intimidating, it does blend into a beautiful natural contour on your face, giving you a nice depth and dimension to your cheeks, to your forehead, to your to your jaw, and to your nose, just depending where you contour. But it's not intense. It is pigmented, but it's not scary. Like you can see that was sitting there quite a long time. So now I have to put a little bit more elbow grease into this. And for this side, I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty number 125 face brush. This one, the Milani, is pretty blendable, but I also found it after several times using it, I also like to work either one side of my face at a time or even one portion of, or just like one area of my face. Overall, not talking about the shades because they're completely different. The Milani liquid contour, it's a lot warmer. It's more of a bronzer contour in one. It definitely adds a little bit of warmth versus Charlotte Tilbury liquid contour. It strictly adds that contour, that chiseled effect to your face, which is great. It adds that shadow, but both are really beautiful. Last but not least, for our makeup dupe, blushes. Our high-end, one of my beloved blushes for a splurge-worthy moment is the Gucci, their new Luminous Matte Blush versus the dupe. This is the Almay, the Healthy Hue Blush, and I think this is it. The colors are slightly different, but the formula, the texture, and the way they look on your cheeks are beautiful. I already put them 1-to-1 just to see how they look, and the finish was so close. So close. I'm excited to show you guys. So this right here, the Gucci Luminous Matte Blush, it's in shade number 3, Radiant Pink. And I'm going to use more of a dense brush to apply this. This is the Causemetics, the Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection number 7 brush. It's one of my favorite brushes to use of all time for honestly everything and anything. Foundation, concealer, bronzer, blushes, highlighter, and I like that it does have this little smaller brush on the other side. So I'm kind of work it into the brush like so and work it into my palm, kind of warm it up a little bit and start applying it by doing light dabbing or stamping motions, not in circular motions, but kind of like as I do my foundation. I'm going to build it up a little bit more because I don't want to go too heavy-handed with it, and bring it up onto my eyes, around the temple right here. And this just gives a beautiful airbrushed finish with the most subtle glow to your cheeks without looking glittery, without looking fake. It just, this blush is just so beautiful. I'm going to use the e.l.f. the Complexion Duo Face Brush to apply the Almay Healthy Hue Blush because I think this is actually a pretty good dupe for the Causemetics. But I'm going to do the same thing, work this into the brush. But this blush right here, in my opinion, it's a little bit more pigmented and more intense than the Gucci. So you do want to work light layers. On my lips, I just have the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in Vanilla. So this is the overall look. I am shocked, first of all, how close these blushes are 1-to-1. The texture, the formula, and the way they look on my cheeks. Both are very glowy but matte. I would say, if anything, if you look very close, the Almay, it's a little bit more glowy, like a hair more glowy, and you can see the particles on my skin, on my cheeks, versus the Gucci, it's a little bit more natural glow. It's more melted onto my cheeks versus the Almay. But both are stunning. I love the Almay blushes. I feel like more people need to know about them because they're a great price point. Overall, I am impressed that a lot of this does look so similar, and it doesn't look like I have different brands or even makeup products on my face from one side to the other. I think the affordable side is doing a phenomenal job keeping up with the high-end side. Let's do a wear test and see how well the makeup looks at the end of the night. Face still looks really good. The only thing is the concealers, they're different.
Mommy,
mascaras, yeah.
what's that?
That's a big truck. Mascaras are very similar. They're not flaking, they're not smudging, no transfer on either side. And I did apply it to a lower lash line to see if there would be transfer, but there is no transfer. Looks good. Okay, how are the makeup dupes holding up to the high end? I just looked in the mirror a little closer and I think the dupes are holding up pretty well. Let's start first with the CC Cream versus the foundation. I think they both look pretty even on the forehead. If anything, I look a little bit more oily on the Neutragena side, but I think the pores look a little better on the Neutragena side. I am shocked at how well the Neutragena CC Cream wore in comparison to Hourglass. It's holding up really well. The one thing I will say, a lot of it is gone around the nose. It's looking a little heavy and cakey around the nose. It's wearing off pretty uneven around my jaw. I'm seeing on my forehead or on the temple, versus the Hourglass, there's a little bit more foundation left on my face versus the CC Cream. The CC Cream is rubbing off a little bit faster and a little more patchy. But again, we're comparing a CC Cream to a foundation. I didn't even say how long we are. We are almost 12 hours into this makeup, guys. Hourglass is still winning with the wear time and the way it's wearing, but the CC Cream, honestly, I'm very impressed. I'm excited to keep playing with it, and I need to go in store and see what other shades they have. Moving on to mascaras. I'm gonna say one thing. Milani, fabulous dupe. Down to the brush, the wand. It's almost an exact dupe for the Thrive Causemetics mascara. So if you are a fan of Thrive Causemetics mascara, you will be a fan of Milani mascara. No transfer, no flaking, no budging. It's beautiful. Moving on to concealer. I don't think the Flower Beauty is a dupe whatsoever for the Huda Beauty for Full Filter Concealer. The Lights Illusion Concealer, it's a lot more watery in texture, consistency. It doesn't apply as even, it's not as flawless. You have to layer a lot more product to get the similar result to Huda Beauty. So if you're wanting a really beautiful, soft, natural matte concealer, but it still has this beautiful glow from within, you will enjoy Huda Beauty Full Filter Concealer. It's one of my favorites. Moving on to contour. I still see the contour, but I think I see a little bit more on the Charlotte Tilbury side. If you're looking for strictly a contour, Milani is not it. It's definitely a contour and bronzer in one. So if you're looking for a good liquid bronzer, definitely check out Milani Liquid Contour. If you want a good liquid contour, check out Charlotte Tilbury Liquid Contour. Moving on to blushes. I'm looking right now and I see both blushes. They're both still similar. If anything, there's a little bit more on the Gucci side versus the Almay, but Almay is holding on to its own, and I really enjoy both blushes. If anything, it comes down to the formulation and the way it feels. They're both beautiful blushes. If anything, check out Almay. I think you won't be disappointed if you like those glowy blushes, but they still give you an airbrush effect. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I am so glad that most of these were, if not dupes, but really close, great affordable alternatives to try out and test out. I enjoyed these videos immensely because I like to put them one-to-one, and usually I already tried both products, just not at the same time, so I can see them firsthand, how the products react, how they work, and how they wear throughout the day. So I hope these are helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.